Продовжуємо роботу в Українському кризовому медіа-центрі. Я запрошую до слова полковника Олександра Мотузяніка.
Now, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson and issue-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk.
Друзі, вітаю всіх.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, the information about the events that happened in the ATO zone. The Lugansk sector yesterday, military actions were along the front line. The occupants were active near Shastya, and usually it is calm there. Enemy opened fire 3 times with the opposite bank of Seversky Donetsk River, including the use of heavy weapons. Also, the situation was tense in Novaidarsky region near Izbinka and in the Popasnyansky region near Oleksandrivka. The enemy used mortars several times. And in Bakhmut highway near Krymska, there were 2 short-term enemy shellings. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, there were 19 enemy shellings, including 6 with use of heavy weapons. The majority of these cases were during dark hours. The Donetsk sector in Pisky in the evening, the enemy used 122 mm cannons. During 10 minutes, the occupants launched at our position 33 shells. Also, active military actions are near Avdiivka and in neighboring positions. The enemy actively uses mortars, shelling our positions both during the day and at night. The situation was tense near Gorlovka in Novoluganska at about 11 a.m. The enemy opened fire with the use of tank. And at 10:45 p.m. the militants opened fire at Lukhabalka village near Gorlovka with the use of 152 mm artillery. And in the result of this incident, local resident died. In the course of shelling, he was near the house and he didn't have the opportunity to hide, and he died on site. And also 2 residential houses were damaged, and 1 house was completely ruined. And the enemy violated ceasefire yesterday in Mayorsk and Verkhnyotaretsk and in some other places. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Donetsk sector, there were 13 enemy shellings. The Mariupol sector in 3 places, Krasnogorovka, Mykolaiivka and Chermalik, the enemy used heavy weapons. And the heaviest shellings were during light hours. On the whole, as previously, the main military actions in the Mariupol sector were in Pavlopil-Shirokina part of front line, where the militants actively shell nearly each of our positions, and Ukrainian forces returned fire at once. And on the whole, in the Mariupol sector, there were 23 enemy provocations. During the last 24 hours, as a result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 3 servicemen were wounded. Today in the morning, Russian side unilaterally documented 66 so-called humanitarian convoy. The movement of this humanitarian convoy was with grave violations of international and national legislation and modalities that were established with the International Committee of Red Cross. And 55 trucks went through Donetsk and Matveyev-Kurgan Russian checkpoints in the territory of Ukraine, and Ukrainian interdepartmental group visually observed but didn't have control functions. And the Ukrainian reconnaissance says that the Russian trucks plan to bring the bodies of those Russians who died in the territory of occupied territory of Lugansk Oblast. These are 30 bodies of mercenaries from Russia. And in Cherkasy, SBU revealed an administrator of anti-Ukrainian group And the detained was managing this activity, promoting the idea of forceful change of constitutional order and also seizure of administrative buildings. And in the course of search, the law enforcers seized computers and mobile equipment with evidence of anti-Ukrainian activity. Investigation continues. In Volhynsky Oblast, and the Ukrainian Air Forces had Blue Trident 2017 command and staff training. The crews of battle airplanes successfully delivered fire at land targets, and also with the cooperation on land forces, pilots parachuted military equipment and personnel. And it is worth noting that air crews were completing the task in difficult air conditions. 18 trucks went through Novotroitsk checkpoint to the occupied territories, bringing construction materials and food and hygienic kits with overall mass of 333 tons from the International Committee of Red Cross.